This man gets out, comes back in with a sisal rope this time. So I'm naked, I'm on the floor. He comes back with a jerrycan of kerosene. Kafungua lid, kakuja na kiberiti. He smears some of that kerosene just on top of my hand like this. He lights up the matchstick and he puts it, up here.
Hello and welcome to the second episode of Voices at the Edge. My name is Otieno. I'm your host. Thank you so much for the support that you've shown us since we uploaded our very first episode. We appreciate it. We appreciate that you've subscribed. We appreciate that you followed us on all our socials. Thank you so much. And if you are yet to subscribe, please do so. We are at 288 subscribers this morning. We are hoping to move further from that. More often than not, we talk about the primary survivors of gender-based violence, and we ignore the fact that there are sometimes there are secondary survivors whose voices we also need to talk about. Our guest today is a survivor, a child who was brought up in a home where there was domestic violence. He's a familiar face. Some of you might know him as a poet, a Monday morning dancer, and many more. But today we are here to have a different conversation. He's here to tell us the story of how he survived. Welcome to Voices at the Edge, Rix.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for agreeing to come here to tell your story. Yes, and before we begin, I would like you to tell us about your Monday mornings.
The clean version or the other?
Both versions, because that is the vibe that I'm trying to have on a Monday.
Well, I'm a rebel. And for me, being that Mondays are taken as very serious days in the world, you wake up after your weekend and everything. And here comes Rix to tell you don't have to be that serious just because it's on a Monday. So, I put up my dancing video and have a good time. Yeah. The message is you can still have a good time even if it's on a Monday.
And we appreciate it.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. If I don't see you on my feed on Monday, I have to search.
That's a good problem to have, I think. Because I think when I talk to people, of course, to a random person, this is just a dance and what is this guy doing in his boxers and whatnot and everything else that comes with that, because people see what they see. Sure. But I'm just reminding humanity that there is more to us than having to keep thinking, oh, Monday morning I have to be waking up to go to some office that I don't even enjoy being in, and this job that I don't like, and my life that sucks. There is more to life than that rat race thing. So some of us exist just to remind everybody else there is more. There's always more.
Yeah, and you can tell, sometimes you can tell by the comments where people are telling you, Rix, it's only Monday day. It's only Monday. Yeah. When really, that is the kind of Monday we all need, right?
Yeah. I mean, if every day could be like that, I wouldn't have so many problems in my life, Because, think about it. When you're growing up, you go to school. The reason why your parents are taking you to school is not just so that you understand the word. No, they're taking you to school so that one day you have a job. That's the reason. That's the reason. They're selling land, cows, everything.
Doing harambes.
Yes, so that Otieno goes to school so that she can get a job. And then akipata hiyo pesa, aanze kututumia hiyo pesa. As you advance your life as well. There's no time for enjoyment. There's no time for self-discovery. There's no time for traveling. There's no time for anything else. You're just working. And me, I have not been a morning person forever. including today.
I know.
And I just never understood, why do I have to wake up at 4:30 a.m. every single day to get into some class? I'm leaving in the evening. I've been given homework. I don't have time for me. I don't have time to play. And then you get to high school and it gets worse. And then they tell you at ukifika university itakuwa less. You get there, like, you finish
And
university.
it only gets worse.
My friend, then you get a job. Then some guy expects you to be at some office at 8 a.m. in the morning, regardless of what has happened on the road. I refuse. I refuse that. That's not my portion, man. No. And I guess, I mean, amongst many other reasons, that's why corporate life has just refused me. You know, I cannot. The last corporate job I did was in 2016, 17. Me, I wanted to show up in shorts. Yeah, at the office. And this supervisor is looking at me like, "Are you mad?" And I'm like, is it my shorts that are working or my brain? You know? So, I mean, it's complicated. Yeah, so I just devised. So previously I used to write erotica like every
Yeah, I
morning,
remember.
like on my
I remember.
Facebook. I still do that once in a while, but then movement is also communication, and there are many philosophies that go into it. Of course, many people like to cheapen it, and because there are many good things to see when I'm dancing. Uh, so we don't think too much about it. But that's the thing also. Like, I don't want people to think too much at the same time. Yeah. Life is good. There are many good things out here. So dance on Monday morning when you wake up.
I'll try. Myself and many others will try. Yeah. So I appreciate you. We appreciate you because you make our days lighter, especially on Monday when you're telling yourself this is not it.
Yeah.
So let's get into today's conversation. Let's start from the beginning. We know you from Fatuma's Voice. We know you as Rix, a poet, and we know you from the Nothing Underneath podcasts. But who is Rix? Who are you? Where did you grow up? Yeah, let's start from the beginning.
I was born at Pumwani Hospital. The year was 1988. It was a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I'm the firstborn of my mother. But my mother had already lost a child before me. So they call us rainbow babies. Yeah. It was in Kitengela. We stayed in Kitengela with my family. I had really good memories of my childhood because I had many friends growing up. It was really, really, really nice. And in between that, actually, 1993, we lost another baby.
Oh, sorry
She was
about
5
that.
months old. Yeah. And then my brother came in 95, and then we left Kitengela in 97. Then we went to Rangai. Rangai those years was just some desert place. Like, there were barely people, man. You can't compare it with what's happening now. Yeah, and I had a glorious childhood. Like, my first 7 years of my life, I think there's parts of me that are still stuck there because I had wonderful friends. We played football. I used to watch games with my dad. Back in the day, they used to, like, music videos were very few. So there were specific programs on TV, on KBC, that were bringing in music. And at that time, most times we were just watching African songs, African music. So me and my dad would sit just to watch music videos, the Koffi Olomides, the Tapules, the Francos, and whatnot. And it was amazing. I had, like, friends who's, like, mnaishi kwa ploti, so you can enter anybody's home and you just chill there and eat and whatnot. It's a community. Man, like, those were years that sometimes I wish should never have ended. Then we moved from Kitengela, and life was never the same. I think my parents something was happening and my mom was not around and we moved to Rangai, now staying with my dad. You're away from your friends. You go to a new school. You start being introverted all of a sudden. You know. Then my dad was not somebody who talks to you at how are you doing, how was school, sijui nini. You're just on your own. Nobody's explaining to you why mom is not around and whatnot. Then at some point I started living with a family friend. Mom was told me still not around. And then we got back together in 97. I moved to a school called Masai Boys. Masai Boys is in Ngong, those sides. My dad was a teacher. He taught at Masai Girls. And then mom came back at some point, and then we moved to Huruma Estate. I was just about turning 9 there, about 1997, 98. And in Huruma Estate, that's when life began, like the violence, as far as I remember it.
Allow me to take you back. In the period when your mom was away, did you ever wonder, or did you ever ask what was going on?
I don't remember asking. Also, I think I don't. Maybe I did. Maybe I did. I don't remember. Things are so vague to me there. I just remember feeling very alone and going to this school. Everything is new. You know, people don't know where you're from. You look different. You miss your friends. You don't know how to make new friends. You know, in fact, all my life, my charisma is the thing that still has made me make friends. I'm so introverted. People really don't believe me when I say that. Like,
How
we
believe
could
you,
be
Rix?
here
How
and
they
I'm
believe
not
you?
saying a word to any of you. Like, me at my corner, I just like my silence. But I was a very good football player. So in school, when you're a standout player, people notice you pretty quickly. And so it was the place where I went to express my identity. You know, I didn't speak much as a child, especially when now already you're away from your friends. So that's the thing that gets you noticed. You know, like, oh, kumbe uko hapa. You know, because in class I'm not talking. I was very poor in English because that's not a language I grew up in. And then now all of a sudden I've been thrown into a private school where my dad moved to, and I'm being told that you write about your best friend. Man, and I don't
Which best friend?
Who is that? And which words am I using? Because I'm alone, weekends, niko peke yangu, my dad is gone, sijui where.
And you left all your friends in Kitengela.
Kitengela, yeah. So it was horrible. Yeah. So I don't remember asking what was happening. I just knew my mom is in their shags. And nobody ever told me, you know why.
So at the time, were your siblings with you?
No, so you see, at the time, we only had my brother. So my brother was with my mom.
Oh, he was with your
So
mom.
Mia was, yeah, because he was young. He was like 2 years old. Yeah, and then Mia was just about 9. So I was chilling with my dad. And then later I moved to the family friend just around Ngong at the time. Yeah.
So why did you move to the family friend's house?
So I just remember my dad moving all our things into some house, and then he was living there. Like it was like kufundo English.
Kupak.
Yeah, park. He had just packed a lot of our house belonging into some like smaller house, and then he was also living in that small house. But mom was still in Shags, and then they took me to their family friend. So now we've moved. So now after moving from Rongai, we went to Ngong. Yeah, because my dad was also moving schools, greener pastures thing, and so now when we went to Ngong, in Rongai, mom was there for a bit, and then I think they were having marital problems. I'm not sure. Then when we moved to Ngong, there was a time there mom was around, and then she wasn't. It's a long time ago. So, but I remember living with a family, like family friends. They were like a family, like friends to our family from Kitengela, actually, that they had also moved. And so they were not strangers to me per se. And thank God they were kind to me. Like I never had issues there, but you're still not in your home. And, you know, there's a, like, I think I've really grown up lonely as a kid.
I can imagine.
Because you're just left and nobody explains anything to you. Perhaps that's what really formed my hyper independence when I was, you know, growing up. Because you realize, yeah, you're alone. You'll go through problems alone, and you have to figure things out alone.
And as a child, people assume that you're not noticing anything, that you're fine.
In fact, it made me very observant, especially of adults, because you see things. Yeah, you see things. You see how adults are behaving. You see what they're doing. You see things they're saying. You look at the world around you. Because you're silent inside you. You're not talking to a lot of people. And sometimes I think that helped me in some ways. It wasn't always just a bad thing because I'm alone. Because now I think I developed a brain that discerns things clearly. Like I love looking at things to their marrow, you know, because it's a gift now. I practice it as a child.
It's a great skill.
Yeah, you're looking and looking and looking like, wewe unanidanganya.
Unamwonea 18.
Hapa. You see, so it has helped me. Of course, you're not 100% with it, but it has really helped me even to get to learn about who I am.
Yeah, so we were at the point where you've moved from Ngong to Huruma.
Huruma Estate. So we moved to Huruma. My mom is back. We moved to some very dingy, small, dark house, single room. My mom is selling mboga, and dad is teaching at a school on Thika Road, and I moved to that school as well. And you know, I start seeing them fighting, you know, and these fights, I think in Huruma, that's when they were more pronounced, because I just remember one incident when we stayed in Kitengela when I was around 6-7 years old, that we went to my aunt to stay there because mom and dad had fought. It was not very clear to me why or what was really happening. But in Huruma, then they start becoming frequent, and I'm seeing, oh, these people are arguing a lot and it's loud, and in a single room you're seeing everything. Hakuna ati nitaenda kujificha kwa bedroom ama sijui nini, you know. So then we moved that house, then we go to the second house. It was a larger single room, you know, so at least there is a bit more space. And it's getting worse. My dad is drinking more. Mom is trying to pray so much for her husband, and you know, he's not improving, he's not changing. Their fights are crazy. They break a bed. I remember seeing a bed breaking. And where we were staying, it was also in a very chaotic place where outside that place, your ploti, there was like a busa den, you know, those busa dens. And in this is 1998, and it's like it's the ghetto, man, you know. So unatoka hapo unapata hao majamaa, they sit there the whole day, drinking, fighting, all those things men do in those spaces.
What is that? What is measuring?
It's like trying to show another man you're stronger or better than him.
Really?
Yeah. And you're all poor. You're all poor. Hiyo busa ilikuwa pesa ngapi? You know, but if you're coming there, you have 100 shillings. Yeah. You're the king of the town.
Poverty has level.
Of course it does. It's classified, of course. Of course it does. But generally, that if you're all living in that space, you're in a similar situation, you know. And there was like a sewage running outside our house, so ilikuwa imeburst. So it was just chaos everywhere you look, and here you are, like your parents are fighting, you're getting into these fights, unarushwa, you're getting into these fights, unarushwa. Tukahama hapo, then we went to another now slightly larger single room again, still in Huruma, and this place we go to is like is a bar and restaurant on the ground floor, and then us, we are living on the first floor. These people were playing music the whole night, and watu wanakuja wanalewa, wanapigana hapo nje, and in Huruma those years, man, like the crime levels were absolutely over the roof.
Really?
Yes, so people are being gunned down on the street, man, because hiyo bar tulikuwa iko hapo chini. Thieves used to come and want to steal from
the bar.
Yeah. I can't tell you the number of times. Those days it was CID, it was not DCI.
CID, yeah, I remember.
Like they have this tip of that, these people could be coming today, and mi nimesimama tu hapo kwa balcony, it's an evening, and and these guys strike, and jamaa ana notice polisi wako hapa. There are 2 or 3 for 5 young men, and they are gunned down like on that road. So sometimes I do have nightmares, of those guns, because for a 10-year-old, I mean, of course we were watching movies about these things, and action movies and whatnot, Rambo, sijui nani, but then hearing a gun go off in real life is another business. It's another business, and their flesh just, hey, that was crazy, man,
I can imagine what that is like for a 10-year-old. Even as an adult, witnessing a road accident is a scary thing. So I can't imagine what it's like for a 10-year-old and to witness someone gunned down.
And nobody's talking to you about, like, this is just, life just goes on. Kesho asubuhi, this thing happened yesterday. Life, people have moved on. Like, it was really rather strange to me, But then maybe sometimes that was covered by the fact that there are other good things happening, I remember there's this orphaned guy who taught me how to ride a bike, and we used to hang out together. There are no fields, so we used to play on football like on the corridor, or some place where sewage is just overflowing, or the Upper Huruma Flats, there used to be fields, so we used to go there, but it wasn't always accessible. This is the first time I am eating mutura, you're stealing 5 shillings to go buy Patco and the Britannia biscuit.
Britannia was big those days.
Britannia was heaven, Kwanza, even nice biscuits were like coming along at the time, and this was a big deal to have access to these things. Again, friends. I had friends, so I had friends at least who made life slightly bearable, but then the violence at home now was getting worse and worse and worse. And there's a day I remember seeing, something happened, and my dad came back and he started beating my mom up. And then at some point akaanza kutupa nguo za mom nje. So we were on the first floor. Akachukua nguo za mom, anaanza kuzitupa nje kwa barabara. It was like around 7 p.m. or something.
Allow me to take you back a little. At this point, is he still a teacher?
Yeah, always been. Yeah.
Okay, and did he come home drunk?
That night, that specific night, no. There were other nights when he did, but that specific night he was not drunk. And even as I'm growing up, trying to understand him, you would say it's always when he was drunk, that's when he was violent. But no, my dad,
it was not the booze.
He was full swing. Like anytime he would strike, and he would go into this psychosis, and he just becomes a monster. So he throws my mom's clothes outside, and I'm like, just watching all this time. I'm just watching things. And mind you, when that is happening, even me, usually I'm being beaten, so on the times when it's mom and dad, on the other times it's me. And when it's me, it's both mom and also dad beating you up. In Huruma Estate, one fateful evening, my dad comes back home as well. It was a normal school day. My mom later told me it was June, which is also my birth month. So I was specifically turning 10 officially during that period. And he came home, and then because he had, being a teacher, he had a lot of these textbooks, zilikuwa mingi nini. And that's one of the reasons I didn't like reading as a child, because home felt like another school. I just wanted to be a child. Maze, I just wanted to be a child. Boardmas was just enough stress to me, like, guys, umengojea lazima usome so that you pass exams and all that stuff. I'm like, it's too much, guys, I want to watch Batman, I want to watch, Rambo, I would just watch cartoon, just be a child. So he comes back home and he's looking for these, there's a book he's looking for in these boxes. He later says it's a Bill Cosby book. And that time, Bill Cosby was huge. He was like what you'd think of Trevor Noah today. And he had borrowed this book from a student he tutored. So it was an expensive book by the standards of the time. It's Bill Cosby, I had seen the cover of the book. I remember it being white or something. But I was not interested in the contents of such a huge book. Where am I taking such a big book?
And you don't really like reading?
No. So, in a one single room, if something is not in the four corners of that house,
it's definitely not there.
It's not there. So he's like, ama ni wewe umechukua hiyo kitabu. And in our African homes, suspicion moves to accusation in a blink of an eye. I'm like, mi sijaona, it's just chukua your book. I have seen it, lakini sijaiona. Then, of course, because I was slightly cheeky, as a 10-year-old would be, stealing your mom's 10 shillings to go and buy things for yourself because you can't be given if you ask politely.
True.
He's like, unanidanganya. Toa hiyo kitabu. Mama yako anaweza iba kitabu? That's what an African dad would ask you. Si wewe ndo unasoma kwa hii nyumba. Wewe ndo unasoma kwa hii nyumba. How said ataiba kitabu? Your uncle, because we used to stay with our uncle that time. So you're cornered. I'm like, but I haven't taken the book. Yes, they can't steal, but I haven't taken the book. Wewe ndo unasoma kwa hii nyumba. So he had all this paraphernalia that he would use to beat you up. So back in the day, our mothers used to hang their clothes with telephone wires. Unajua hizo wires za simu.
Za simu ama za stima?
Za simu. Unaona hizi unapitanga ukitravel. Hizo wire hizo za simu hizo black.
Oh, the black ones. Oh yeah, I remember.
The tough black ones. Our mothers used to hang clothes with them. So nje ya balcony hapo hivyo, there are rolls and rolls of them so that hizi zikikatika
kuna stock.
Una replace tu. Which was pretty sustainable, really, if you think about it. So dad gets out and he comes back with a roll, just something like a meter long. And he strips me of my clothes.
No way.
Yeah. And he's like, utatoa hiyo kitabu we kijana. So, hey, I'm like, kunaendaje huku? I was used to being beaten. Niko napigwa by the vibaya sana. But that night changed my life. Like I was never the same from then. So, if this is me at 37, you can imagine how small
tiny you were.
At 10, like I was a thing, So akanitoa nguo. And my dad used to beat you with his soul. Like zile shida zote anapitia kwa life zinakuja
Ana
kwa hii
project
moment.
hapo.
It's coming here right now.
So he has stripped you. Unaona akona the wire. What's going on in your mind at this in that particular moment?
I was always ready. I knew when he was getting into this thing. Like, I mean, if you've grown in a violent house, when energy has changed, you know something is about to go. You know. So, and in our home, you never predicted when energy would change. It was any time, any day. 7 a.m., 5 p.m., 12 a.m. Things will be going down.
Even at 12 a.m.
Even at 12 a.m., my friend. So that you have a lot of anxiety there.
You're constantly on the edge.
You just never know when chaos will erupt. So amekunja hiyo wire. It just starts whipping my back, whipping, and it whipping like he's actually killing a snake or something.
I can imagine what that felt like.
My dad was very strong. He was very strong. My dad was huge and strong and angry. His eyes would just turn red, and it's like you've done the worst mistake on earth, 15, 20 minutes pass, or it felt like an hour. Wow. And my body starts to feel frail. And I'm like, this man will kill me. No. So my little child intelligence tells me, okay, I know sometimes you lie that you didn't take 5 shillings and you've actually done it. Today you have to lie that you took something and you didn't. And he wasn't stopping. So, and I'm bleeding now. You're sweating, you're crying. My mom is just watching. My uncle can't do anything.
Where's your other sibling at the time? Your brother?
My brother, so 98, for sure, was 3 years old. Barely. He's just a kid. He definitely cannot remember that night. But he was in the house. So it's a single room. Pali kitanda iko imekuwa nini na kitambaa, this huge curtain. So we are on this other side of the living room when all these things are happening. And I say, okay, fine, I took it so that he can leave me alone. Then I remember he looked at me and he said, "Ndakufanyia kitu hautawahi sahau." I don't know why that book meant so much. I don't know if it was really just about that book. It's a book. Yeah. This man gets out as if he'd planned all this stuff. He comes back in with a sisal rope this time. So I'm naked. I'm on the floor. I'm still sobbing. My body's in pain. And he ties my hands. He walks up into so we had like a very small corridor of a kitchen, some small space where I used to cook. And he comes back with a jerrycan of kerosene. Okay. 5 liters. Unajua tulikuwa tunaekea mafuta ya taa kwa hizi 5 liters thingy. Nakumbuka hiyo time kuijaza ilikuwa kama 60 bob hiyo time.
Yeah. Life was good. Cheaper.
So akakuja akafungua lid na kiberiti, akakuja na kiberiti. No. And then he smears some of that kerosene just on top of my hand like this, and it lights up the matchstick and he puts it, up here. I think my brain blocked.
With the rope on you?
Yeah, like you're tied like this. So, anakwambia weka mkono hivi, and then he puts that flame on with the mafuta taa. So your skin just dances like, unachemuka ukiona. Yeah. I was never the same since that day. There are many things I can forgive in this world, but you don't harm children like that. No, you don't harm children like that.
So what's going on in your mind in that moment?
I'm very, I'm angry. but then also nilifeel ni kama kuna kitu imetolewa ndani yangu yenye siwezi sema ni nini. You know, like, it's like your innocence has now officially been robbed off of you. Like, Rix, as I knew myself before, had gone. He had gone. Something had happened to me.
Is your mom saying anything?
They are not, like, nobody could overpower that man when he was in his psychosis, you know. So I couldn't go to school for like 2 weeks. I just remember seeing my mom the next day bandaging me and whatnot. But I think that's the time I started seeing the world is a very unsafe place. Like, if I can be this unsafe in my own home,
With your own parents?
what about the rest of the world? How do things look like out there for a child, for anybody really, you know? And I just became quiet, completely quiet. I was quiet. I became mute. Something had happened to me that I didn't have a language for. And that didn't stop the violence at home from continuing. Them, they forget, like, that's how things used to happen. Like, kitu inafanyika leo, kesho asubuhi. You see the way Kenyans move on after violent things happen? That's how our homes are. Like, a lot of crazy things happen. Kesho tunaamka ni kama haikufanyika.
Kama kuna
So
really
you
happy.
dissociate. Yeah. That dissociation thing. For me, I'm still in pain.
You probably have a wound.
It's fresh. Your body is frail. You can't walk properly. I can't even remember what I explained to my friends that had happened to me. Sikumbuki nilisema nini. But I just was not myself ever again. So anyway, we at some point we moved from Huruma. We go to Riruta satellite. And Dad is now earning more money. This is now we've gotten to 99, 2000, we've gotten to 2001. They're still fighting. Like, that was like the modus operandi with this family. They are fighting, I'm being beaten. They are fighting, I'm being beaten. My brother is also growing. So now here I'm around 12. Okay. 2 years after this incident. And my mom had completed college. She was studying to be a teacher as well. So now we have 2 teachers in the house. Serious disciplinarians, as we like to call them. But for me, it's like there's a very thin line between discipline and violence. And in many of our contexts, we were not being disciplined. No, we were being battered.
And abused.
We were being abused.
And it's the reality of so many children. In the name of
many people. In the name of discipline. And you hear people say, oh, mimi kama singechapwa, singekuwa hivi. Yeah? I will not be responsible. And I'm never sure how true that is, because if you look at many of these people, they are struggling in their relationships. They don't know how to regulate their emotions, but they deem themselves responsible maybe because they have a job. Because they have a job. So now they are responsible. Yeah.
By the way, when people say that, mimi kama singechapwa singekuwa hivi, have they, do they ever stop to think about what's on the other side of kutochapwa?
No, they've never seen it. Yeah. You can't imagine it if you've never seen it. Yeah, because it was normal to see kids being beaten. That was how you grew kids up. See? So it's very few homes. You know, I was sitting with Zippy, of course, the other day, and we were just talking, and she was telling me about her upbringing and how, like, her father was so kind and loving, and even to me as an adult listening to that, I'm like, which world
Your
is
mind
that?
is blown.
What were pigwy? And look at Zippy. Look at Zippy.
She's turned out so well.
I mean, you know, you're confident, ati self-esteem, ati sijui nini. Those things are not there.
And she recently posted a video where she was having like some downtime with family. at home, and you can tell that there's some kind of there's a way she's free with her dad.
And funny enough, maybe I'm lucky in the sense that I know people who grew up with Zippy, and they tell me how loving their family has been ever since. These are not hearsay ati sijui Zippy anakuja kutudanganya. No, they have been witnesses of people seeing that, oh, we grew up with kina Zippy and their home was just like this. Even their mom, you know. So 2001, I'm 13, thereabout. We are in Riruta, and this is now the era where, you know, Safaricom has come in. People are starting to buy phones.
It's the millennium.
Yeah, it's a new millennium. Y2K. You know, if you have a bit of money. So we were just moving from using pagers. People used to have this thing called pagers. Yeah, pagers walikuwa na hang up, alafu inaingia kimessage, unasoma au SMS.
Kama zile za madaktari.
Yeah,
I see some doctors wako na some pagers, like when you need to communicate to a doctor in a different department. Ama unamuita for.
I have no idea what that is. So it was something they used to wake up hivi, inatuma kama telegram SMS, unatuma SMS nini, but you couldn't call. So now phones came in, mobile phones came in, and it was revolutionary. And my dad got this phone, and he bought my mother a phone as well. And of course, being a Luo man, anytime he buys a device, it's like it increases his value as a human being to the power of 1,000. So he feels he's mighty, and his wife has a phone. You know, what are you telling him? You see? And my dad actually felt like the way Christians describe God: all-knowing, omniscient, omnipresent. He was all those, all-powerful. He was all those things, man. And he is the law. He never made mistakes. Whatever he thought was right. And if you are wrong in his eyes, you are the one who is on the wrong. See? So, and you know, all this time, they're still arguing about things. So now the more money is coming in the home, it comes with women and more alcohol. You know? One day, 2001. So, you know, me, I used to school in the schools he's teaching in. So, you know, people know this is your dad. And yet in school, he was a wonderful human being. People loved my dad. My dad is so charismatic, by the way. Utampenda. Hata wewe ukimwona leo, hey, Rix.
For sure.
You sure? Sio wewe ndio uko na shida. Oh, you are just a stubborn child. Oh, unadanganyia huyu jamaa. And at home, you were seeing somebody else, you know.
A totally different person.
So one day he comes home. Yeah, it was like a weekend thing. And he's not come home. I think he alifika home kama saa 9 usiku or something. He hasn't told my mother his whereabouts. So he's come home. Of course, he's drunk. He was out to drink his own things, whatever. So mom is kind of trying to ask him, like, you know, hata ungesema ulikuwa wapi nini. So these are things I'm knowing that it will be much later. But sasa it's Saturday night, me I've slept. You know, nimeshaona movie yangu ya KBC, nimelala. So waking up Sunday morning, this man, when asked where he was, he says that he was solving a case in school up to 3 a.m. He was solving a case in school about me having told my best friend that I had slept with our house help. So now he's solving that case in school. Do you hear how outrageous that is? Niko nyumbani, lakini mimi nilienda shule, nikaambia beste yangu that nilidoze, na house help. Sasa hiyo ni kesi ana solve shule. Sasa ndio ilikuwa, it was that long, iliisha saa 9. So me, I'm waking up in the morning and my mother is asking me, ati ulienda kusema nini shule? The house help is asking me, ati? And I'm like, hata mimi ati?
Hata uko shocked.
But it's because he knew I'm vulnerable. He knew I'm helpless in that house. He knew his story will be believed.
You are the perfect scapegoat.
100%. You know. And that is violence to my mom. That is also violence to me. You see? He hasn't beaten you up there.
He's beating you up in other ways.
Beating you up in other ways. You know. And that was considered normal.
How did that make you feel?
No, I was angry. Me, I've been angry at that guy for a long time. Because, you see, Otieno, I do not understand why society is comfortable with people being violent to their people, to their family, and life. It's like it's okay.
Like it never happened.
You know, there are many stories of, there was a time, 2012, for example, among the hundreds of these occurrences, my mom was supposed to send some money to Shags, to the caretaker in the Ugenya Boma. And I think she forgot about it. And she remembered this like in the evening. So those years, you had to go to an M-Pesa shop to deposit money. You couldn't deposit it directly from your phone or something. I can't remember. So my mom remembers, oh shoot, sijatuma hii pesa. Mzee akirudi hapa hajapata hii pesa ijatuma itakuwa shida. So she sends my cousin who goes out to deposit this money so that the money can be sent. In that space of my cousin going to deposit this money, Dad gets home. It's around 7 p.m. So by this time we were living like in a 3-bedroom big house. So sisi tuko na bedroom yetu, sis na house help anakaa kwao, then mom and dad. And akakuja, akakaa, akakula. Those years, M-Pesa shops used to close pretty early. So my cousin had to keep walking and walking to get a shop. That's why he took longer. Hii side ingine kiateka na pressure mzae. Sijapata do. Unaona? So huyu jamaa ashakuja home, ametei, he's tipsy. He's had his fill, ameshakula. Alingoja tu wakule, ashakula. Wako hapo na mama, wamekaa side to side, meza ndio hii ya dining table, nini. So I'm in my bedroom. But naona mlango yangu imefunguka kidogo, so I can see them where I am. So this man takes this glass of water and throws it. He throws the water to my mom. So you're reacting like sasa this is happening really quickly. So ameitupa hivi, and then as mom is trying to shield herself, akashika nywele ya mom. Kashika nywele ya mama, akamwamsha, akamzungusha hivi kwa meza, akamleta kwa carpet, sasa chini. No, I'm in the bedroom. It's happening really quickly. So I've seen the thingy. Then sasa akamchukua, akamtoa, sasa akatoka kwa hiyo frame ya hii view nilikuwa nayo. Yeah. So ako kwa carpet hapo chini, and already, so usually because I was used to like the fightings a lot happening, anytime I hear my mother is in distress, my body just reacts automatically. Go help. Yeah. So I spun into action. By the time I'm getting out to the scene of this chaos, my dad had really fat fingers, So anavuta mom nywele hivi, mom is bleeding from her hairline. That force it's out of this world. By the time mtu anakuvuruta nywele,
painful.
Sasa mtu amekuvuruta nywele, una bleed kutoka kwa hairline, my friend. So I get behind him and try to ungrip his fingers from my mom's hair. And I skuma him to the door. That night, I had bad thoughts. That night, I had bad thoughts.
Tell me more about that.
I thought of stabbing him. Yeah. Just get it over with. Because you're a menace in this house. We are constantly worried of our safety because of you. You feel so important. And it's not like, my mom is a hard worker, man. You know. And much as she has her own things. Nobody's perfect, for sure. But then there is nothing that warranted the violence that I was witnessing in that house. Nothing. The next day, things moved on. In fact, I was telling this story I was telling my mom somewhere last year. It was like the first time she had heard it. Yani, Mia watu, yani.
It did not register in her mind as a traumatic experience.
It was traumatic that time. Then she moves on as well. And it happens to, again, abused people. You just put it at the back of your head, this marriage has to work. I have a family to take care of.
And children.
God has given me this family. Huyo mtu uwezani na yeye. Huyo mtu uwezani na yeye. Mungu amekupea hiyo familia. You are ready to die there.
It doesn't matter what's
Otieno, me I fear Christianity. What? Mimi muniache tu. Call me the heathen. Nini, I'm okay. I'm sleeping very well at night. Yeah. I have peace of mind. Nikilala usiku. Sifikiriangi ati, who do I have to lie to now? Yeah. And yet on Sunday niko hapo, nimetoa sadaka. Mimi Mkristo. Hey, I'm a respectable person of the society. Ogopa sana. So, that passes. Nothing moves. Sometimes we had like family meetings where now things were bad. And you see now the problem was my dad, being a firstborn in their home, his mom was the last wife, the third wife, all right? But it so happened that he was a little well off than a lot of his siblings. Alipelekanga watu shule nini. So he's also being worshipped at home. Even his own mother fears him. Nobody tells him really, unafanya ufala we mse. At some point, mom started to fight back, and that's why those fights became worse and worse and worse. Jukitambo alikuwa anapigwa na chill, akaanza kufight back. Then mimi pia nina grow, unaona. So anger is just building up over the years. It's just building up over the years, The last one, actually, that's not even the last one. But amongst the worst that now we had to involve police. The first time we involved police after all these years was in 2021.
Allow me to take you back a little. Between 2001 and this hair incident happened in 2012. 2008 and 2012. How are things?
They were, so 201, so me, I finish class 8, 202. I go to high school. There were a lot of problems there as well. Kapigwa X, story for another day. I'm writing letters home about how much pain I'm in and how I'm feeling like I'm not being treated well in this home. They're just filing these letters. They're not telling me anything. They're not responding. They're just filing the damn letters. Nakuja tu home, you feel so violated, because umeandika kitu kwa roho yako. It's like the way you're trying to, if you have a lover that does not love you back and you're trying to
You're pouring your heart.
And they're so nonchalant about your situation.
On the other end, you're chalanting.
Uko kwa ground, chalanting badly. Umeisha bana, magoti haina nguvu. Huyo mtu wako tu anakuangalia tu unamaliza saa ngapi. That's how I used to feel at home. Like nobody cares about my emotions here and these people are just out of it. So there were fights in between that, arguments. Mara mama anapata namba ya madem kwa mfuko ya ujamaa, sijui nini, wanawake wanapigia mam simu, ati wanamthreaten, watakuja kuchukua landi yetu, vitu mingi. In between that time, I've run away from home because I can't bear the chaos. I've been a street boy. I was hanging out hapa Koinange Street with sex workers, just chilling at night, shoplifting. Nimepigwa mob justice juu nilipatikana nimeiba maziwa huko Dairy Fresh. Ilikuwa ndio Dairy Fresh. Huko Tuskies, huko Ronald Ngal. As in, so many things are happening in between here.
I would love to delve into the time when now you ran away from home.
So the first time I ran away is the year 2004. It was April. It was around the time Sean Paul was coming to Kenya. We lived in Mlolongo. So we had hammered from Riruta. Now we had built some house in Mlolongo. So bado ilikuwa inajengwa hata tuliingia kama ijaisha. And again, because all these years I'm a teenager now. My emotions are very complex. And there's no space to express these things, and yet bado unapigwa, bado wazazi wenu. My parents used to argue about things children should not hear. Things children should not hear. By the time you're hearing your parents arguing about sex, those things stick with you, and it's ugly. The things they're telling each other, they have dehumanized each other to a level that is nasty. Alafu watatoka your bedroom, alafu mama taingia kitchen, apike, mkule, asif kila kitu iko sawa. Jamaa aende kazi, mama aende kazi, umebaki hapo. Na hizo maneno tu, unazisikia tu, ngenge, zinafly tu, left right. Jioni wase warudi, wana watch news, Otieno. Human beings, I have never understood. And for me, later I had to want to study a bit more about the brain and how trauma affects people, because it was not mathing. How is life just continuing na nyinyi mko hivi, Yeah, so between all that time, these are the issues. There were still things happening. So anyway, I ran away. So the first time I walked from Lolongo to Kitengela. What I was looking for were my childhood friends. I had not gone to Kitengela yet since we hammered in 97.
Since you went to Rangai.
Yes. Yeah. So this is 2004. Since 97, I've not been there. So I trace hiyo ploti tulikuwa tunastay, and there were people who were still living there all those years, and one of them were actually very close. People were very close to my family, and they just took me in. They didn't know what was going on. Yeah. They just saw me and they said that my face has not changed.
Hawakukuuliza umetoka wapi? Wazazi wako wapi?
Nothing. Yeah. I don't remember being asked those questions. They just took me in like, hey. So my English name is Eric. So they're like, hey, mambo poa sana. Mimi nikasema tu nimekuja kuwatafuta. That's all. Yeah. And just as it was when you were kids, you're ushered into the home, right? But then now, of course, kina mama searching for me, nini. I don't remember at what point they found me. They discovered that I was in Kitengela. So my mom came for me. Again, there was no proper discussion about what was making me run away from home. Life just went on. The month, so now, in this period is a period which I had been expelled from school, long story, and then something happens in June. Kina mama sijui alikuwa ameenda wapi, but that time Lolongo didn't have piped water, ati umepipe water kwa nyumba, so we used to go very far away kubeba maji kwa hizi mawheelbarrow nini. hata stima iko imeingia in many homes, so we didn't have like electricity. Ikakuwa sijui nilisahau kuchota maji, something happened. Alafu mom, just at that time, mom now used to shout a lot at me, and it was unbearable. Like I never felt like that home really took care of me. So mi nikajam. Nikasema by si lazima nikae hapa. Hey. So it was 7th June 2004. That was a Sunday. I remember Buzz ndo ilikuwa inatokea sasa. Buzz ya Nation had this pull-out magazine called The Buzz. You remember Buzz? And I remember that particular Sunday, they had put a picture of Nazizi there. It was so, and I loved reading newspapers. That's around the time that I felt I wanted to be a journalist. So I used to read a lot of newspapers and whatnot. So that evening, venye nimejam, nikasema hii nyumba ikaliki by the mi natoka hapa. Na sijui nataka kwenda mahali hawezi nipata. So nikachukua gazeti, Sunday Nation, sneakers zangu, Walkman. The other day I was talking to my sister and akaniambia ajui Walkman ni nini.
Hebu mweleze. Those were the days.
Akachukua Walkman yangu, earphones, mi nikatoka. I'm always with headphones, by the way. If you look at, like I am always
I've seen
headphones.
them.
Yes, because music used to help me get away from hizo kelele za
all the
kina mama.
chaos.
Yeah, it makes me go to just my own world, and I create my own reality, because some of those things you used to hear that they would just, yeah. So anyway, I started my walk from Lolongo to town. Katembea, the whole kilometers took me like 4 hours. Kafika tao kama saa 3. I'm just starting to roam about nini. And hapo City Market, kwa steps za City Market, majamaa wakakuja wakaniibia Walkman yangu.
Sneakers.
Yani waliniachia viatu, but that was my welcome to the city. Like hapa kuko hivi. Hapa kuko hivi kijana. And I was such a tiny kid, man. Nah, these are adults. Like, guys, no respect for children, man. So then now I was just shoplifting from supermarkets to survive. I used to love the Refresh a lot, the flavored ones like vanilla, strawberry. So that's how, and those years supermarkets didn't have CCTV cameras. So if you are clever enough, you'd steal a lot of things from supermarkets. So a week later, I'm going to get something from, there was an Ukwala supermarket near bus station.
Yeah, I remember it.
In town, yeah, back in the day. So I went there. I'm not hydrating, so my skin is, I can remember my lip was starting to crack, and I'm just surviving on milk. So that day, nikaenda nikachukua maziwa kutoka Ukwala and a small Nivea petroleum jelly. Kashetani kakaniambia, enda utafute zingine leo. Yeah, feel generous for your pockets. Yeah. So I was like, I need bigger milk tonight. So it's 7 p.m. This is 20th. No, yeah, so I ran away on a 14th. This was I just remember it was 20th June. And it was also a Sunday. So 1 week after running away. That day, I remember going to Uhuru Park, and Pius Muiru had his gathering, preaching in that afternoon. Then it rained. Then tukaenda kujikava hapo Uhuru Park. So jioni ndo nikatembea, nikafika Ukwala supermarket. Kitu ikaniambia sasa tafuta mahali pengine uchukue maziwa kubwa. Then I walked to Ronald Ngala. There used to be Naivas. There was a very tiny Naivas on Ronald Ngala Street. I entered there. It was rush hour. Sunday, people are, they were like, tunataka kufunga shop, haraka utoke. Mimi ninapiga raundi nione venye nitachukua maziwa kwa fridge, niweke kwa side pocket yangu nitoke. So one of those attendants akaanza kuniangalia funny because I was just rounding that place, sikai kama mtu ako na direction. Anaambia kwani uchukui uende? So nika time saa yenye niangalii, kaenda hapo kwa fridge kuchukua hizo maziwa. Nikaona hii maziwa ni kubwa sana, sitaiweza kuchukua leo. Nikasema let me just take the small fish I'm used to. Kachukua hiyo dairy fresh ndogo. So in the process of kuchukua hii dairy fresh kuitoa kwa fridge niweke kwa side pocket, ule Morio akaniona, akakuja. He just opened my palm like this, akaona maziwa. Ile bare ule mse alinipea. I can still feel that slap anytime I talk about it. What? Nikaanguka kwa shelf huko. Then akashout mwizi. See now, Kenyans are usually ready for violence anytime. It's just a switch, you know. The people who are shopping, wakaacha kushop, wakuja kupiga huyu mwizi. So that was mob justice. In like 5 minutes. Unaonanga zile, though it wasn't that bad, but unaonanga zile picha za watu wamepigwa alafu macho zao zime...
Rix, saki kucheka because this story is so sad. Ama wale wenye wametoka ku harvest bees.
It wasn't that bad, but my face had slightly swollen. So even in the street, I used to write. So those are the years I started writing. And when I was running away, I took my small diary and a pen. I used to write what I'm seeing in the streets, nini. So they brought in the manager and they frisked me and wakapata ile maziwa ya ukwala, wakafikiri hizo pia ni zao. So jamaa anafungua diary yangu, anaangalia, ananiuliza, kijana, and you have such a good handwriting, what are you doing here? Nikamwambia, baba yangu amekataa kunilipia fees, sijui nini. And akaniuliza, so my unajua ni zile diary zenye huku mbele ni contract, so kuna contract ya mom na dad, marafiki zangu wale wachache. Then he's like, mnaishi wapi? Mlolongo. Tukipigia baba yako simu atakuja. Kaambia mimi sijui. As fate would have it, my father was at Kamukunji police station going to report that I am missing. And why Kamukunji? Because I had an uncle police officer stationed there. So majamaa wakaniambia, asipokuja tunakupeleka wapi? Kamukunji. Unajua? Wakapigia mzee simu. Huyo jamaa akatokea hapo in those 5 minutes. Apparently, he had just landed in town from Kamukunji.
So he had already made the report?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's 1 week after I've disappeared, you know. Kaingia hapo with this big Ericsson phone. Sony Ericsson. Ilikuwa kubwa kama over. Kuja hapo na hiyo kifua yake. So, you know, the people are watching, management imesimama, this tiny little thing ni kwa hiyo kona. Naangalia hivi anasema, kijana, hii ndio maisha unataka kuishi? No. Then he pays for those things. Then we walk out. He hires a taxi. When he hires a taxi, anaambia dere, weka huyu kijana kwa boot. My friend. Nyinyi mnasemanga ati that man is not. Weka huyu kijana kwa boot.
Wow.
Dere mzee. Mzee, hii ni kijana yako. Wacha tu akae hapa nyuma. So he softens up a bit. Okay, kwa backbench. Uko home kufika, ashanunua nyaunyo ya ile siku nitarudi.
Like a real nyaunyo. Gen Zs don't know what nyaunyo looks like, but I know what nyaunyo looks like.
Jesus Christ. There's no other English I have for you describing a nyaunyo. Nyaunyo. Imetegno nguvu iko. So we get home and he unleashes his new weapon of destruction, and he wants to beat me. And that becomes the first day I stand against him and I tell him, Auni Chapi.